All right, guys. Well, that was interesting. For some reason, my microphone is not registering, so people can hear, but microphone is not. Let me get my weird looking knee from out of the way here. Uh, I feel like Zach right now. you got to cover myself here. But okay, guys. So uh, let me know if you can't hear me. Uh, you should be able to hear me if anybody's actually out there watching. You should be able to hear me. Uh, but so in case you're wondering what happened there, when I pressed the button to go live, you know the microphone thing that shows it shows whether your microphone is picking up or not. It wasn't showing me that the microphone was getting any signal, but then I did the playback. It showed me that the microphone was getting audio. So I don't know what's going on now. If every time I do one of these live streams, it's something different. So we're gonna get into the video. Today, we're going to draw Serpina. And for those of you who don't know who she is the Gen Succubi. If you go to Hexcraft Mechanics Ultimate Control, it is on Indiegogo. And that is my urban fantasy bad girl comic. Basically, Serpina is the character who we talk about. In there. She is a succubi Jinn, so she grants wishes, and she does so sometimes for favors, if you will. I'm just going to set this up real quick so I can try to monitor the sound. Okay, that's not good. You guys weren't supposed to hear that. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to shut that down, and I'll just do this. As long as I'm getting sound, that's fine, and you guys can hear me. That's good enough. So let's jump into this. Let's see. Oh, hey, check that out. Comment. Hey, resident antagonist. Ain't typing much tonight. Working for another 90 minutes. Thanks for streaming. No problem. Don't worry about it. I'm going to be doing some drawing myself here. And now that I have everything together. and, all right, so Serpina, as you guys know, she's the succubi Jinn. So we're going to do a nice picture of Serpina today. Now, I am using, this is also meeting paper, this type of paper we used last time, but this is different. This is the hot press paper, and this is also 300 GSM, and this is very different. You'll see, and I have my pencil here. That was a thing last time. So this is 300 GSM cold press paper, and for those who don't know, cold press paper is a little bit more like the surface is not so rough. So first off, let me think. Do I want to do? Let's try to do. Wait a minute. Hold on. I just realized something. I don't have an eraser, so that defeats the purpose of me having the pencil. Hold on. All right. So guys, this time it was different. I actually had an eraser where I could get it. All right. So we're doing better this time. We're doing better to stream already. All right. I don't think I want to do that. I think I want to do something a little bit more different. Let's go with let's start with a blue line. That would be good. Start with a blue line. We'll get an image down. So this might actually be a pretty long stream because we're going to start all the way from the bot or from start here, or start all the way from start. We're going to start all the way from the beginning. We're going to start with the blue line. I think we're going to do it like this here. I'm going to do a little bit of foreshortening. Hopefully, it will look, give her some claws right there. And so, kind of a decent start, I'd say. Now, if you notice, I'm doing a little bit better with the drawing, and that's because this paper, like I said, is smooth, whereas the other paper was rough. Now, the rough texture, as you guys may know from watching some of my other videos, the rough texture is for straight up watercolor. That is paper that holds a lot of water, and it's very rugged. It's very tough. It doesn't buckle, and plus this is gummed together on the side, so it's not going to buckle under pressure. Like if I were to use a lot of water on this, which I don't think I'm going to be using a lot of water on this piece, but if I wanted to use a lot of water, I could do that. And let's see. I don't like this. This should be, this hand should be coming more toward the viewer. So we're going to do this. Just do that for now, and do it. There we go. So now I know a lot of times my art comes off messy when I first draw it, but it usually turns out well. But that's how I draw, and that's why I like to actually draw with a blue line pencil. Yeah, I typically when I'm doing a book, I use a very smooth Bristol board. Sometimes I'll use something with a little bit more tooth to it. So I'll use like the vellum Bristol board. I'll use that. Let's see, this should be here. I think I'll use the vellum Bristol board, and a lot of times that smooth plate Bristol board is a little bit too smooth for me. See, I think I want to do this. Let's give her. That's a little bit too smooth for me, depending on what I'm doing. If I'm using a lot of ink, this leg down here. Okay, that changes that. If I'm using a lot of ink, I like to use something with a little bit of tooth to it, especially if I'm doing something with like the watercolor or the. I don't really use a lot of watercolor on my actual books. Books I'm actually doing, but I do use ink wash. So if I'm doing ink wash, I like something with a little tooth to it. Okay, and let's see. Let's make this. Since I have this here, let's make this kind of a dress. Let's do it here. Should we? Let's not make it torn at the end. Let's just make it. Let's make it smooth, like that. There we go. Now, what you may want to know about this character is this character Serpina has been away for a very long time. She's been trapped in a bottle, believe it or not. Somebody made a deal with her and trapped her inside a bottle after they made the deal with her. Go figure, right? So she's going to be very angry about that. And what has happened here, somebody has found a way to get her out. A lot of that kind of stuff happens in the Night Phoenix Press universe, particularly in the Epitaph, Bread and Salt side, Hexcraft Mechanics side of the Epitaph universe. All right, so we're going to give her. Uh, let's do this. Take the face like this. I'm going to. Do I want to put the hair? I'm going to do the hair differently. Let's see. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the hair, pull it back like this. She wouldn't wear hair like that. Yeah, she would. She would pull it. She wouldn't do this. She wouldn't do that. She would pull her hair back like this. Do one of these numbers where the hair goes back and over. And then it's just kind of long down the back. She does that kind of thing. Now, in the comic book, she wears one of those hair ties around her hair, but here she's just going to let it flow. So I've cracked my paint brushes out for this, so this is going to be interesting to me and you both. Let's see how this turns out. Got the ear right there. And that's all kind of wrong. There we go. Ear goes down there. I'm going to stand up a little bit here. Not stand up, but just kind of raise up a little bit here so I don't get the eyes messed up. I always like mess up the eyes when I'm sitting at the desk because what ends up happening is when I'm doing the eyes, they always come out. You know how like you do the eyes and one eye is always at kind of lot. It's like shorter than the other. That's why you have the desk that tilt up, so you don't have that problem. But my desk doesn't tilt up, so I'm just looking at it flat. So if you're looking at it flat, your chair should be higher up. See, hate that feeling like the character's cursing from me on the page. Yeah, exactly. So you want to kind of get all that stuff right, especially if you're selling. Now, a lot of times, if I really mess something up, my art editor will fix it. But I try to get have that stuff looking good before it gets to her because it saves time as well as money. So you want to do as much stuff as you can by yourself. I'm going to let this fall over like this. and then let this fall back. And we'll give her some dark energy. We'll fill that in later. Now, this is a little bit of a cheat when you're doing these kind of characters, because the dark energy, usually will take up a certain amount of space. So you get to decide how much space you want to take up. I'm going to have it come out to here and kind of bubble up like around there. But we'll fix it so that it will look like energy later on. All right, so let's get into some penciling here. And I'm just going to do a little bit of penciling just so I can kind of lock this down. And then we'll get into the inking. And I'm just going to put a little bit of a... For some reason, I want to make that kind of like torn right there. All right, and we're gonna go right here. So it's a little bit tight around there. So I'm feeling that this isn't as dynamic uh, as it could be. See, I put this leg, let's see if I put this leg back a little bit, like there, that would be nicer. A little bit more dynamic because it looks like she's walking forward a little bit. And do that. I can make the hips over there too wide. Nothing wrong with wide hips, just too wide for that. Her leg is going back. There we go. I like that a little bit better. Put this leg up a little bit. So it's like that. All right. This comes here. We're going to put some wrinkles in there. And this, I'm just going to let this fall off. I'm going to let this, or make a, let's make this slit right here. We're going to let that fall over there. Put the leg back. Let's give her some thigh highs. Thigh highs are always sexy. And I think I might fold them down. I don't want them to be this loose like this. I might fold them. We'll see. I'll work on those boots. All right, so we're going to get into this. Now, you see how this works on the page? The drawing is a lot smoother. That's the texture, flat texture there. But don't be fooled by this paper. It still has a lot of tooth to it. It still has a nice texture to it. It still holds water. Uh, and it's not like Bristol board. It's a little bit tougher than Bristol board. Bristol board is what I usually draw on when I'm just kind of, I'm just doing pen and ink. I use Bristol board. All right, and let me put a finger back here. She's got 4 fingers there. She's got 3 fingers and a thumb. All right, so we're gonna put a little finger all the way back there. I don't know if that's like the nicest finger, but that's what it's gonna be right now. We're gonna use that finger. All right, so I'm not gonna mess with this too much. That's gonna be covered by the energy. Oh, you know what I did here? Her thumb is actually over here. That's why I did the blue line. Well, we're gonna ignore that right now. We're gonna ignore that, and we're gonna draw just like that. I said I was gonna ignore this part, but we're gonna do it anyway. All right, so we're gonna do that now. The ears. I'm going to change pen before I do the eyes and things. I'm going to change to a smaller pen because this is a 1.0, so that's why I use that in a point zero. I mean a 0.8. That's what I normally draw in. Yeah, I hands can be really annoying. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to actually draw that thumb, and I'm gonna do that because that's where the dark energy is gonna be. Remember, so we can. Let's see. So yeah, hands can be a hell of a problem when you're doing stuff like this, especially if you're doing when you have people holding things. You can kind of get away with hiding it a little bit, but eventually, gotta learn how to do those hands. Gotta do that hand practice. I haven't been sketching in my sketchbooks like I'm supposed to do. I've broken the sketchbook habit, so I have to get back into that. I haven't been doing that at all recently. I'm gonna give her the boots. I'm gonna have them be a little bit loose, and if I make them loose like that, I'm not gonna fold them down. We're gonna do a little bit of shadow right here. Probably should have did that with the paint, but we're gonna we're gonna go with it now. So this changes this area a little bit, and gonna make the boobs just a little bit bigger right here, and we'll figure out how to fix that later. I could probably fix that by making this outfit black, which is probably what I'm going to do. Black leather. Anybody? Let's see. We'll do that. Okay, so knock that out, and I'm gonna start erasing. Oh, might be good to draw her face. All right, now we're gonna switch pens. Let's see. Hey, Willie Annie. The hand covered up the boobies. I know, I know. The hand covered up the boobies. We're going to fix that. Let's see. Um, but right now we are going to switch to I had a pen over here. I actually had, oh yeah, here we go. This is a point, this is a 08. That's a 08. And the one I was working with, let's see what we can get with this 08. We're going to do the eyelashes. So we can do the eyelashes with a pen like this. I'm actually going to do the eyes too with this one. This one's just a little bit smaller than the other one. So I'll do the eyes like that. We're gonna give her a mean look. She's mad. She's been pent up, held up in a jar. A jar. Can you believe that? A jar for years. After making a deal. And now she's out. And she's going to wreak havoc. And believe me, the time that she was in that jar was very small compared to the time that her lifespan. It's that little time was nothing. It's just a few years. Put a few stray strands of hair right there. Let them flow. I'm going to actually let the hair come all the way out to here. Now, she doesn't necessarily have this much hair in the book, but for this, she will. All right, so we got this going. We're going to take the eraser to this. I'm hoping this ink is dry. I'm hoping the ink is dry as I do this. All right, good stuff. All right, so I'm going to actually start messing around with the energy here. We're going to make it like so. It's going to change again when we actually start to fill it in with the black ink. We're going to let it bubble out. It's not going to be precise at all. Just let it do that. She needs to talk to Jeannie. Yeah, she's like she's Jeannie. That's not so nice. We're gonna make that do that. So we'll hide that way. And do this. So there's another thing that she's connected to, but I'm not going to tell you guys about that. You'll find it if you read Hexcraft Mechanics 1 and you have the Epitaph Bread and Salt book, you might, just from some of the stuff I've told you, you might figure it out. But there's some other stuff that she's connected to. So we'll find that out later. So I was thinking about doing a separate book about that particular thing, and then I'm kind of like, nah. If that's the case, it's going to be solved. Something that's going to be solved in the actual book. in the actual Hexcraft mechanics book. I could do a one shot about it, but I'm kind of like, I don't think it's interesting enough in itself to do a one shot by about. All right, so now we're going to get into the black ink, but we're going to start off with this. Now, I have a lot of water in this on this brush. You see that? We're going to get some ink here. I want to see just how much ink this brush is going to hold, especially working on a different type of paper. See, will this hold the same amount of ink as the silver black, the silver black velvet? So far, so good. This is nice, but I can see it graying out over here. I can see it going gray, like right about there. So we're gonna get some more. And what I'm gonna do is, you see how these are how the lines are kind of, how they're not you know, how they're not necessarily uniform. I'm gonna let them, let the hair hang over like that. Get some of it where it goes all the way down, and some of it where it's just kind of hanging back, just like that. And then I'm gonna get right in here to make this look like it blends in with the rest. And we'll do that. Now, this is the kind of stuff I do when I do the Victor Locke Demonor books. If you like this kind of art, check out Victor Locke Demonor. I do some paint that's all ink wash, black ink, and I use my fine liners in there too. But when you see the next issue of Victor Locke Demonor, it's going to be a little bit different. I'm not going to be ink. I'm not going to say that I'm not going to ink with brushes anymore. I'm not going to do a lot of ink. Well, I might. I might actually, because I have these now. These are a little bit nicer. I was trying to ink with the Chinese brushes, or the Japanese brushes, the imitation horsehair brushes, and they're good for some things, but not for the type of thing that I was doing. I actually enjoyed using them. They were nice, but not necessarily for what I was doing. So I'm going to go back to fine liners and brushes like this, where you get the finer point. This is actually this is actually working out very nice. I can get some more. Do I want to do more paint or more water? More ink. Let's go with more ink, because brush is getting a little bit dry. But we went pretty far with ink before we had to dip it. So I'm satisfied with that. Now you can see the hair up here is kind of gray. You see that? That's not as dark as I would like it. I'm gonna go back in and get some more ink on there. But I'm not going to make everything dark. I'm going to keep some of it kind of gray like that. Now, there are people out there that are masters at doing this kind of thing with a brush. I've seen them do it. It looks amazing. It's an incredible skill, and you have to have the right tools. You have to have the right stuff to do it. Now, I'm going to switch off brushes here. So I'm going to wipe this off before I throw it into the water. See, if you want to do more close textures, look at reference on Pinterest. I always use Pinterest. Yeah, that's a definite. Uh, see, I don't want to do the energy just yet. We're going to go with the dress. I need to get the ink off of here before I put. No, you know what? I have two things of water here. Okay, so we're going to. But I really want to keep one of these for paint. Let's see. Where's my? Okay, here we go. We have wet napkin here. Okay, we're gonna set that right there. Okay, now I have this one. I haven't opened all of these yet. So the next ones I open, I think I'm going to. Oh, that is nice. Look at that. All right, and I'm gonna let now. I'm going to let the. I tried to do this the last time, but I'm going to work at it a little bit harder this time. I'm going to let the paper act as the gleam, at least some of it. I'm going to come back in with a little bit of gray, just a very small amount of gray, to get some of the gleam on the dress. So now this is going to become interesting because we don't want the dress interfering with the dark energy. And you guys probably have an idea of how I'm going to facilitate that. We'll do that. And here. And we'll do that. So that's there. Um, all right, so I'm going to let some of that go gray as opposed to making it completely black. And now I'm going to make other areas a little grayer. It's 10 o'clock. Like I always say, you guys will always know what time it is here in Chicago because I always forget to turn my computer to silence my computer. Okay, so we have this area right here. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is go ahead and use. Let me think about it. I'll come back. I'll tell you guys how I'm going to do that. Now, this part of the hand, I might let this just go gray. Going to get this in here. Like this. Again, we're not going to be. We're just gonna dab on there just like that. Now I'm gonna actually do some that in there. And this is how we're going to differentiate it so it doesn't cover up the dress. Like that. We're going to do some more to it soon. Because we want it to look like energy. So we'll do this. And let it have a bit more of a range. Radiate more. What's it? Purplish energy in low cut dress. Oh gosh, I didn't see it. I didn't see. Okay, I didn't see that. I might do that. I might do that. I do have a purple, a nice purple. We'll mix it in. We'll mix it in there. See, let's get the shoes. Ooh, wow, that's way too much ink. Wow, that just soaked that up all kinds of ways. So, yeah, everything I said, questioning, will this brush soak up the ink and soak up the water? Yeah, yeah. It does all that. That was like a huge glob of ink. Let me try to get this in here very small. Okay, so all right, so this part up here, I'm trying to think, do I want to turn that into hair? Let's do this. Then that will be there. If I make that, that looks weird though. Okay, we are going to go in with our corrective ink, of course. I am going to actually let this one sit here. That was a lot of ink in that brush. All right, so we're going to set that there. Where is all right. And yes, this is exactly what you think it is. It is a paint marker. Let's see, will it still work? And also, let's see, can we get it to? Let's see if we can get it to work properly. Okay. All right, guys, the ink is actually coming out, or the paint is actually coming out. This is my first time actually trying this with a piece, guys. So wish me luck here. All right. So far, so good. There's probably way more paint than I should have for that. Let me see if I can get any of this up. All right. Now that's the kind of paint that you use for cars and stuff like that. So I actually found I use those for signing and signing book covers and stuff, and writing on my when I get a journal, art journal. I started putting the date and everything on the back of the journal, so I use it for that. Oh my God! What happened? I went to let the dog out, and there's all black all over. That's where the chromatic big. that that is the ink, or I mean, that is the energy, the energy that's going. And I'm going to mix that with purple, taking a suggestion from Resident Antagonist. We'll see what happens with that. I think that was a good idea. Taking a suggestion. What the heck did I just say? Taking a suggestion from Resident Antagonist. Okay, so I have. Let me look at this. I have lilac. I think that's nice. Let's see what we got. We're going to use this brush. I'm going to dip in the water first to make sure everything's out of it. Let's see. Make sure everything is out. Okay. All right, guys, we're looking good. We're looking good. Okay, so I'm going to actually dip it in the paint, and I'm not going to put it on the actual. I'm gonna put it here. That's why I got this thing out for. Okay, so let me put a little bit more over here, just a little bit, because all we need with that Arteza is just a little bit. We're gonna get in there, and we're going to kind of go in these areas right here. Just like that. Now, we got to be careful because we have to make sure that the ink is actually dry. In the areas that I'm putting the purple. Not so sure the ink is actually dry around this part. So we're going to actually wipe the brush off. Some more, and I'm going to go around this energy right here. We're going to go around it like this. You want to do the energy another color for sure. It looks like she got attacked by. It looks like she got attacked by Bendy in the Yank machine. Wow. That's a game I was like kind of interested in playing too. That looked really interesting. I was looking at game theory. That's how I get interested in like a lot of games that I typically wouldn't be interested in. I watch like game theory and some of the let's plays, and I like that. I like that. Get in here. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to let the brush dry a little bit, and because I don't want to, let's put more water on it. There we go. I want you to kind of see the hand through it. That still might not be. There we go. That's a little bit nicer. It's a little bit more transparent. I might go back in with the fine liner once that dries, and make that hand a little bit darker so it can stand out a little bit. And since we're actually doing energy with the purple, why don't we do this and put it kind of all around her. Like that. There we go. I like that. Love it. It's got this Norris deck too. Oh, thank you. And let's get some more down here. We're going to get a little water on there so we don't start going into a dry brush effect. A little bit more water. Around here. A little bit more water and a little bit more paint. You can make the case that I probably should be doing this with gouache instead of watercolor. Yeah, that's a nice effect. And I like it. I like it. If it was a close up, she'd look cool with sunken cheekbones. Yes. Oh, thank you. see, sunken cheekbones. We can do that. That's kind of like Patrika. My character Patrika. She has those cheekbones. Let me see if this is that dry. Okay, I'm gonna darken this up a little bit. I want to make sure it's dry because I do not want to mess up these pins because these pins are not cheap. But I actually like these better than the microns. I know everybody uses microns. I actually like these a little bit better. I may go in and do some gray over the hand there. All right, and speaking of gray, now let's see. That's dry down there. Still have to be careful. Now that's the thing with the blue pencil. You can't always erase it as cleanly as you would like. Typically, I just use pencil, but for something like this, I did want to have a bit of a base first. So, what I'm going to do is number one, we're going to clean this brush off. And for this, we're just going to dip it in this water. Now, you notice over here I have the water that I cleaned the brush off with the black ink. We're going to take a look at that, see what that will give us. And okay, so this is going to be the gray. We're going to give her kind of a grayish tone. And this is kind of a, as you can see, it's kind of a purplish gray. There's a little bit of that purple still in there. I'm going to do that. And up here. Right, because she will grant your wishes for a price. And it's a price. Now, okay, here we go. Now, remember the paint? The paint is right here. So we're going to let that just kind of stay there. And what I'm going to do is we're going to work with that and just go like this and let the light come from this way. And that, let's see. Hopefully I can get this off of there. Good enough. All right. We'll do that. Back the legs. And I like this. You know, this really, uh, I'm going to say, I really like the way this brush, these brushes paint. Man, it sounds like my ex-wife. Just like classic Shira or Chitara is the, so I like this brush, these brushes. I like these. Very nice brushes. This went on very smooth. I think I'm going to use these when I do the next Victor Lock Demon Noir. I think I'm going to use these. Those are that's real nice. I'm going to come back in there with. Uh, I don't want to use. this is what I'm going to do. We're going to do just a little bit. That's even too much. We're going to get a little bit of this and put it like right about there. It's kind of a gleam. I said I was going to kind of use the paper, which I am going to do, but I'm going to make this a little bit darker, more of a grayish, just a little bit though. There we go. Just a little bit, let that go on there. A few strokes here. Get the gleam on. And right about there. I think that looks kind of nice. Okay. I think I'm going to let's shape it up a little bit more. You can't keep in a bottle for decades. So people are gonna come and look at this chat and go, "What is what's going on?" Let's see. Get right in there. And let's not make it so uniform. And we can do it like that. A little bit like that. Fill this in just a little bit more. All right. So I like that. I'm going to bring this out a little bit more over here too. And now I'm going to see, I don't like exactly what happened with this hand here. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go in with the white and just kind of make it a little bit of a this just gonna be something. Well, we're not gonna do it that much. This is gonna be something I'm gonna try to test out and see if it will work. It's gonna do that. It's a little bit of cleanup. I'm not particularly liking that, but I feel that I can deal with it later on. Let's see. It kind of messed up the hands. Let's see. That one, two. How many fingers does she have? One, two, three. That's supposed to be a finger. One, two, three, four. And that's the fifth one. Okay, so uh, we're gonna go in with the pencil. Let's see. We're gonna look at that and make sure what I got. What I make sure that this is right here. Okay, so let's see. This is a thumb. That's a, but that's a, wait a minute. This is finger. That's finger. These are fingers here. This is the thumb. What the hell did I do right here? Okay. Uh, we're gonna hide that. And you know what we're gonna do with that? We're gonna hide that with some black ink. Because I have no idea how I structured that finger. That hand, I should say. And I did have this hand structured. I did have this hand structured. Resident Antagonist saw me structure that hand. All right, so This may be, that may be a little bit too much. So we're going to hide it like this. Let's do that. So it's going to be like energy kind of twirling between her fingers. And nobody will be any wiser, except for the fact that I literally just said I'm going to hide these fingers. So there we go. Now, when that dries up a little bit, I'll go in and kind of restructure that a little bit, just so people can kind of see the fingers. I'm going to already start with this pencil, so I'll have a place to go, but not really happy about how the fingers turned out there. I should have been a little bit more cautious while I was actually doing the energy. I should have been a little bit more cautious about those fingers. So we'll figure that out. Let's see. Other than that, I like this. Let's see. Maybe it's how you stretch the pinky finger out, but the rest are clustered. Yeah, because I had the pinky over here and the thumb over here, somewhere in there, like somewhere with these middle fingers. I went a little bit crazy. But what I will do, a way to help fix this kind of, is to put fingernail polish on them, so people will go, "Oh, okay, I think those are her fingers." But now I'm going to have to be very careful about how I do that, though, because I don't want to ruin this. Oh, this is a great time to go ahead and use this. We're going to use this detail brush right here. This is actually for like if you want to draw letters on things. That's what these thin brushes are for. I have one for the silver black velvet too. The difference is that these are uh, mixed. Like these are part squirrel hair and fake squirrel hair. It's real and fake squirrel hair together. This is just fake squirrel hair. So a little bit of a difference there, but both of them seem to be working very nicely. So we're going to go with our vermilion red. That is my favorite color for this, vermilion and scarlet. I like to use for these. You know what? Let's go for the lips since we have that. Are you kidding me here? Hold on a second, guys. Let me make sure that this brush is clean. Okay. Now, there we go. All right. Now we'll go to the fingernails. All right. That's helping so far. Gonna go with a thicker coat right there and right there. All right, now see. And I'm actually going to go right here so people can just assume one of those fingers is covered. Oh, Here we go, right there, just like that. Okay, we fixed that. Thanks for your time. Let's real wish I could stay. All right, you take it easy, resident antagonist. Catch you next time. Thanks for stopping by. And let's see. There we have it, guys. That is a lot of it right there. Let's see. You know what? Let's do a little bit of a background. Let's see, we got the nails. Fingers didn't work out exactly what I want, but at least we got we got the gist of what's happening there with the fingers. I can still fix that up. We'll come back to that later, though. So let's see. Let's have her. Soulfire I had in a pit of hellfire. For this character, let's make her. Want to do the rocky terrain? Let's do a rocky terrain type of thing. Let's check that out. Let's see, set off the fire out alarm. See you later. Let's see. Oh, wait, someone set off fire alarm. Oh, okay. All right, let me know what happened with that. Wow, things got things escalated quickly right there. All right, guys. Well, with those of you who are left, we're going to finish up here. And I'm going to actually uh, get some gray on that ear right there. A little bit of gray. Okay, I think I put a little bit too much. Let's be careful here. We don't want too much gray on there. Get too dark. We want it to match up to what we have already. Push comes to shove, I'll just take it up with this. This is why I've been using the clean. There we go. Take it up with that. Okay. Gonna make it a little bit grayer around here. All right, so let's see. I don't want to do. I'm going to actually go in here and kind of do some things here, so it makes it look like it's a little bit more structured than it is. We'll do that. Let's see. We'll try to see if we have all this space here. I'll go for some rocky terrain. We'll see what we can do with that. And that'll be a lot of kind of gray tone, a lot of gray tones and areas in there. But it's easy to draw. You'll see me do this with when people are on interdimensional planes. I'll do this rocky terrain kind of thing here. So I think this pen is like ruined now. Yep. Heck, blast it. Well, no, I mean it's still okay. All right, so we're gonna get us some. Yep, this is shot. But before we throw it away, we're gonna do that. A little bit of texture there. Okay, we'll work with that for now. Let's see. Well, I don't want that brush. I want this brush. Okay, we'll start here. Let's try not to reactivate any of this. Well, it's not. It's not actually reactivating. So that's a plus. Okay, so we're gonna go here. Light tone. Top. And this is going to get darker as it goes to the bottom, but I'm starting off with the light tones first. Now, I probably should have done this technically before I did the rest of it. And also, guys, take note that this paper isn't buckling. It's it's strapped down to the pad. And again, just like the other paper, 300 GSM, you can see a little bit of give right about there, but it's not bad at all. In fact, let me get some of this water up here. That's a little bit too much going on down there. You can see where the ink is at, where the watercolor is actually reactivating. And if you're actually trying to do that, I wasn't trying to do that. This is actually a good paper for it. You see the you want if you like to reactivate the your watercolors and stuff, you like for it to be able to for that to happen. This is a watercolor paper that you can do that kind of thing. Again, this is 100% cotton. If that is of interest to you. All right, we're here. And so we're going to keep it. I'm actually going all the way up here. And this is getting a little bit iffy around the bottom here. I think that's where the glue for the pad is, where it holds the pad together. So we'll do what we can with that. And all right, so we're going to go in and paint some of these things, paint some of that a little bit darker. Not that dark. Let's see. Yep, a little bit darker than I want it. Let's go here. So I had two kind of thoughts of like kind of making it darker as it goes near her, and then I kind of thought about making it. I kind of thought about something different where I was going to make like the light source because it's supposed to be coming from that way. So we'll work with that. And kind of have it coming from the top a little bit. All right, now this looks like it's going on a lot darker, but it's going to dry gray. We're going to do that. And I'm going to try to get into these little areas here. This one I'm just going to kind of go in and go in with straight up black ink. We're going to do that for this area right here. All right. And I'm going to ease it up a little bit here. Do that. All right. And I'm going to wipe it off a little bit more. Get a little bit more water on it. And then all right. So see what we have. Get more water there. And this is gonna, yep, this is gonna start going gray here. And we're gonna let it do that. All right, now I'm gonna go in, get a little bit more water. And let's get this right now. I'm gonna do that. All right, I probably should have done that like down there, but we can always go over it again. All right, I like that. I do want it to be a little bit darker on this side. Right there. All right, there we go. All right, now I think for the background, um, for the background, maybe we'll just do a light gray. Okay, I think that's good for light gray. We're trying to not reactivate colors here. All right, so far so good. And there's a lot of water on the page here. You see the water standing up. And so we're just painting with the water, with the water that I used for the to get the to clean my brushes off with. We're using that water to do this background. So we got a lot of it here. Again, can't knock these brushes. Really, really like these. I saw some other ones I was thinking about getting, but I think I'll do that another time maybe because these are actually pretty nice. Loving the amount of water that they're holding. Ooh, that was almost a mistake. All right, so we're gonna go all the way down here. Sorry guys, hope my hand wasn't in the way there. All right, so we got some purple mixed in there. We're just gonna do that until the purple is all mixed out. And we won't worry about it. But that does show you that you can reactivate colors on this paper. If you're wondering, this is the Arteza watercolor that I'm using. For anybody who's watching now or maybe watching in the future. Now the paper is showing that it wants to buckle a little bit because of the amount of water that I'm using, but because it's so tightly bound, that's not a problem. And when this dries, this will dry flat. Like my other one, when it dried flat. And this is the difference with the cotton paper, that you'll see a lot of stuff on here is drying smoother than it would on pulp paper or cellulose paper. I don't know, cellulose paper can actually pull off some nice effects. At this point, pulp paper would have been, it would be coming apart. That depends. I mean, it depends on the sizing and stuff like that. There's some papers with some good sizing to it. You know what? I'm going to actually crack out. I keep saying that. I'm going to break out my my other brush. I have another brush here that would be perfect for what I'm trying to do. If I can get it open. There we go. All right. I'm going to soak in the clean water a little bit here. Because these brushes have kind of a gel on them, so you kind of have to put them in a little bit of water there, let them get a little soft. And I'm going to dip it in the same water. And yep, that is better. All right, guys. There is Serpina. Serpina. I keep calling her Sarpina. Her name is Serpina. There's Serpina. There she is. That is our succubi Jinn. Very dangerous lady. If you like Serpina, you can see more of her in Hexcraft Mechanics on Indiegogo. You guys know I do have an eBay where you can buy these from. If you like these, I'm going to start promoting that more. I don't think people actually know I have that, but I do have an eBay where you can buy these pictures from. I'm going to start putting that down in the description if I haven't done it already. I think I've probably done it already, but I'm going to start telling people about that more. But there you have it, guys. Just doing a little bit more detail work on this here, just to kind of fix it up a little bit. I might go back. Oh, okay. Let's just do this a little bit. I might come back in with the fine liner, fix that up a little bit. Now, technically, if I were to do this again, I would let since the light is coming from this way, well, I guess you could have the light coming from both directions because that's down there too. But then that means like over here, you know, I'll tell you what, let's just do uh, something. It's 11 o'clock. Oh wow, I've been here for a while. We're gonna do something real quick. We're gonna do this where the darker color comes from here, even though we'll let the dark color come this way, and then it will bleed out. Why did I grab this brush? It's not the brush to grab. In fact, that was my okay, this is what I'm looking for. All right. Not too much though. Not too much. We're just going here like this. And I'll let it taper off in this direction, just like that. There we go. There we go, guys. There is Serpina. And and there goes one of my brushes on the floor. All right, guys. So I hope you enjoyed it, especially those that stuck around. I see there's still a few people watching. So nice to have you. Let me get that right there. And you guys take it easy. Remember, guys, Hexcraft Mechanics, Ultimate Control. That is my urban fantasy Bad Girl comic. It's on Indiegogo. That's where you can see ladies like Serpina, dangerous, sexy, seductive, and some of them very deadly ladies. And they're coming after some of them might be coming after you. Who knows? They they each of them have their own goals. This particular person, she's evening out the scores. There's some souls out there that are owed to her, and she's coming to collect. Not yesterday, day before yesterday, we did. Who did we do the other day? We didn't do Rahab. We didn't do Erica. We did Soulfire. We did Soulfire the other day. That is Serpina's friend. Okay, it's her soul collector. She goes and helps her collect, hence her being a soul collector. So, some dangerous ladies here. So, check it out. If you like Bad Girl comics, particularly the 90s era type Bad Girl comics, this might be something up your alley. I just had to go in here and do some fine line work on this. So this will eventually end up on my eBay. So I'll put a link in the description. If you guys want to grab this, you can grab this for probably like $20 plus postage, $25, something like that. Maybe I'll do a $30 postage paid, free shipping kind of thing. So we'll see. I'll put it, best offer. I'll do something like that, and you guys can check it out. I'll put mine. So, you guys got that. You take it easy. Nathyn Brendan Masters. I'll catch you guys tomorrow or Monday, somewhere in there. Hasta.